Right, so once again, I welcome you all to this 94th session of Leadership Talks. As you know, that these sessions are being organized by India International Education Council and School Lalaji Solutions. India International Education Council is a not-for-profit organization which is working in the field of education. It has collaborators from 12 countries. India International Education Council aims to create a better world through education. It also aims to build quality centers for elementary education which are approachable for all kids, finding best educational practices across the globe and find ways to implement those in Indian institutions. It also trying to create more awareness on hygiene and learning disabilities. It publishes a magazine called World Education Review and many other educational reports. It aims to build 100 chapters in different cities by 2022. It will soon open its membership for institutions and individuals. It also imparts training for leaders, teachers, students, and parents. So as I have shared that this is our 94th session, we have already organized the 93 sessions. We have received 8,647 registrations during those 93 sessions. We have also received 7,882 questions on national education policy. We have seen participation from 5 countries: India, USA, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Nepal. From India, we have seen participation from 19 states and 83 cities. We aim to organize 200 sessions. With these 200 sessions, we would be reaching out to 100,000 educators and 20,000 institutions. And 1,000 plus eminent speakers like today's speakers would be joining us to share their perspective and to offer that collaborative approach for the successful implementation of national education policy. So I again welcome you all. Please join me now in welcoming our key speakers for this session. Our first key speaker, Dr. G. Thangadurai. Dr. Thangadurai is director with the Presidency Group of Schools, Bangalore. With over 40 years of experience in the arena of education, Dr. G. Thangadurai has been the founding principal of Presidency School since 2008. He's a distinguished educationist with a vision to deliver and sustain quality education that prepares students for a global society. Dr. G. Thangadurai has excelled as a seasoned administrator, a prolific writer, eloquent speaker, and a commendable teacher. He has completed the strategic leadership program from IIMA in 2001. He has led the students' delegation to Round Square Conference in London, Scotland, and Indore. In his broad career, Dr. Thangadurai has contributed his educational expertise in various organizations like the Nobili School in Bihar, DPS Vidyapeeth, Odisha, BJEM School of Bhubaneswar, KD Ambani Vidya Mandir, which is a unit of Reliance Group. Dr. Thangadurai's unflinching dedication and remarkable contribution as a teacher earned him the prestigious National Award from the Government of India given by the then President of India, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. He is proud recipient of several other prestigious awards like the Telegraph Award, the Best School Award, Rajya Puruskar, known as Governor's Award, and Outstanding Educationist Award, among many others. We welcome you, Thangadurai sir. Thank you for joining. It's an honor to have you. Our next key speaker, Mr. R.C. Dhasmana. Dhasmana sir is principal with Radha Madhav Senior Secondary School, Bareilly, Uttar Pradesh. He has got master's degree in history and B.Ed from Dehradun, HNB Garhwal University. He's also received MEd, from HP University, Shimla. He has received PT certificate course in educational administration and teacher counselor from New Delhi. He has also done graduate course from Indian Junior Chambers, National Academy of Leadership and Administration. He has been the member of CBSE inspection team for affiliation and upgradation of new schools. He has worked with many prestigious schools, in the capacity of principal like Sri Bharat Mandir Senior Secondary School, Rishikesh, Dawn and Donna Convent School, Shahjahanpur, Uttar Pradesh. He has also been the principal in Manasthali Senior Secondary Quad Residential School, Bareilly. We welcome you, Dhasmana sir. Thank you for joining. It's an honor to have you. Our next key speaker, Aditya Chaudhary ji. Aditya sir is Dean Academics and Innovation with Sunbeam Group of Educational Institutions, Varanasi, Uttar Pradesh. Aditya ji has 2 decades of experience in education. He has achieved the Global Competency Certified Counselor by UCLA and AFS. He is the Varanasi chapter president of AFS. He's an ace editor, acknowledged quiz master, motivational speaker, and quality circle trainer. He has conducted various workshops, seminars, and webinars on various education related topics. We welcome you, Aditya sir. Thank you for joining. It's an honor to have you. Our next key speaker, Ms. Chetna Malhotra ji. Chetna ji is founder of Rangbhumi Mumbai. Chetna is an applied theatre practitioner, a drama-based learning facilitator, theatre of operas practitioner, a playback theatre practitioner, and a dance movement language practitioner. She has the vision to take these forms of art-based facilitation to workspaces, open learning spaces, classes, and training rooms, thereby creating a culture of expression, acceptance, and love between people. Chetna Malhotra's decade-long work experience as corporate trainer at Genpact, IBM, HP, and IIT Emirates Air Hostess Academy, Minister of External Affairs, and American Express has taught Chetna firsthand how image, branding, customer service, training, and HR management impact the public perception of a corporation, its employees' performance, customer service confidence, and its goal setting and result oriented business strategies. Chetna has evolved in an innovative approach towards in classroom training at corporations and educational institutions. She has introduced a drama based learning of facilitation, narrative storytelling with movement, image, and forum theatre, psychodrama, thereby making learning a doing phrase rather than a lecture platform. We welcome you, Chetna ji. We all are very excited to hear from you, your interpretation and your perception about evolution of education in coming time. Welcome and thank you for joining. It's an honor to have you. Our next key speaker, Mr. Sunil Dangi. Sunil ji is co-founder and CEO of eMango Solutions. He's an IIT graduate from IIT Kanpur. He's having master's degree in mathematics and scientific computing. He is an actuary and also the member with Institute of Actuary United Kingdom. He has worked with ICICI Prudential, HSBC, and Financial Risk Advisor at Ernst and Young, India and UK. He's an entrepreneur for last 6 years in telecom, food, and education sector. He's doing research on career counseling for last 2 years. Based on that research, he along with his team have come up with a platform called eMango, which is a digital career counseling platform. So we were just informed that due to some last minute emergency, Mr. Sunil won't be able to join us. On his behalf, his co-founder, Mr. Nitin Nagpal, has joined us. So welcome, Nitin ji. Thank you for joining. And our last key speaker for this wonderful session, Mr. Vinayak Sharma. Vinayak ji is the National Head of Business and Strategy with Torrens. He is a MBA double major in Finance and Marketing from IMA. He dropped out after clearing first group of CA final to start his own brand of tea, which sells successfully in rural West Bengal and opened up subsequent expos to European countries. Having a decade of experience in the FMCG sector, branding and supply chain, along with handling international trade and logistics. Since 2017, involved in bringing an upliftment in the field of music education provided to schools across India through Torrens, a US-based organization known globally to provide the best in music education through its online and offline platforms. We welcome you, Vinayakji. Thank you for joining. So with this, I would request our key speakers, I'll come to you. Before that, I'll quickly share the flow for the session. I believe you all have received the flow. We'll begin with the opening remarks. So I'll come to our key speakers one by one. You'll get 1 minute for your opening remark. Then I'll again come back to you for your main talk. You'll get 8 to 10 minutes for your main talk. And then in the end, we have received many questions. So I would be presenting these questions to our key speakers for your comments and perspective. So with this, I would request our first key speaker, Dr. G. Thangadure ji. Thangadure sir, welcome once again and thank you for joining. Can we have your opening remark?
Good afternoon to all. It's a great pleasure joining you. Well, I would like to open the remark with a very immediate experience with regard to the technology, the impact of technology on online platform. We had our first terminal examination conducted using exam.net, and the learning outcome was splendid. We could hardly make a difference between a normal examination learning outcome and a learning outcome from an online platform. Later on, in January 18, that is just immediately here, we asked the students to come to school and write the exam. and we found the performance dipped between 40 to 60%. That's the impact of technology in terms of online examination. Now, the challenging task is to reclaim the lost spaces and the lost ground. And here comes where we need to take the technology from level one. I say level one because when the pandemic came like a storm, all our teachers, kudos to them, they aligned with the technology, the basic technology, I would say, and moved from a normal classroom. The transition from a normal classroom to an online classroom went very smoothly, and they took control. And we would, though we may not call them as a frontline warriors, but they proved to be a backbone of education. But we need to take this level one to level two using technology. And how shall we characterize this new context? What does it change for us? How should we or shall respond to it? What are the means available in terms of technology? How shall we organize ourselves for it? We need to revisit our goals both in curriculum and how to develop a disciplined, self motivated students, and a few other questions we need to explore. I'm looking forward to this session to know more about it from our learned colleagues and look forward to interact with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you. Uh, Thank you, sir. Your presence is an honor. I'll come back to you for your main talk. With this, I just would like to check, Dhasmana sir, do we have your presence? Because I don't see your name in the list of participants. Okay, I believe he's here to join. I would request Aditya Chaudhary, sir. Sir, if we can have your opening remark.
Yeah. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure and a privilege to be in such august company like Thangadurai sir, Chetna ma'am, and young entrepreneurs who are in some way connected to the education fraternity, Mr. Sunil and Mr. Vinay. Talking since we are talking broadly within the ambit of NEP, and I belong to a group of schools, and my work basically is within the framework of school education and how it is delivered. So for me, uh, obviously, there has been a big disruption due to COVID, and education has moved in a different direction, and it has moved in leaps and bounds. So I hope at some point of time, when we are reworking on the education policy, we take into consideration the changes that has happened in the educational fraternity in the last 1 year, and how do we assimilate the good points that have come out of these changes happening, and how do we take it forward in the realms of education. Like Thangadore sir said, children appearing for exam.net, doing fairly well, not doing well when we come back to the written part. So, as educationists, it is very important for us also to sit and analyze that are we still going to continue with the pen and paper test? Because again, I'm sure Thangadure sir will agree with me when I say that as a teacher, as an educationist, data analysis becomes so much more easier when children are appearing for online exams. Proctored exams, yes, but online exams, because we exactly know in a class who all have done question number 1 to 5 correct and question number 6 to 9 wrong, because question number 1 to 5 may be of one concept, question number 6 to 9 may be of another concept, and a teacher actually gets to know that exactly which questions have children made mistakes, and it is so much more easy for remediation. In a normal school today, if I was to take a unit test, a teacher will take at least 3 to 4 days for correcting the papers and giving it back. In the meanwhile, the lessons would have gone ahead. And it's very difficult for you to revisit the chapter after a week and do remediation. But with online exams, technology in the put into the classroom, it is easy that you finish a class and you can immediately take a formative assessment. So are we thinking in terms of continuing with our online exams, or are the gains that we made in teaching learning during the online um, pandemic era, are we going to forget it the moment we come back to the class? If we do so, I think so it will be injustice to the effort that teachers put in. So that is something that I look forward to the deliberation. When it comes to NEP for me in my own small domain is basically all about schools, how they are planning, what is the development plan. And when I say development plan, it is all about long term and short term development plan. How are they going to enable students to continue teaching? How are they going to handle regression that has happened during the COVID era? Because I firmly believe that the gap between the children who know and the children who are not knowing as of now has increased. So, how do schools plan to bridge that gap between the ones who have learned and the ones who have not learned? How our teacher capacity is going to be built up? NEP talks a lot about teachers and teacher building teacher capacities. And lastly, how was student learning and assessments? That's why I started with examination and assessment during the on the technological front. How are student learning and assessment going to be different from here on, and how are going to track progress? So I'm looking forward to these deliberations. Thank you.
Thank you, absolutely, Aditya sir. And I believe the initial first two, these opening remarks have set the tone for this special session. Now let's invite our very special Chetna Malhotra ji. Chetna ji, you have been seeing education from a different perspective altogether. So, what's your opening remark, Chetna ji?
Thank you so much. It was great to hear the honorable key speakers and Aditya sir. Thank you for setting the tone. And I've been a fan of your school for long, and it's changed the face of how Varanasi looks like. So I would say for me, NEP, first of all, I must feel very proud that I am the only woman on the manel. I call it not as a panel, but a manel. And that's what NEP wants to do, is to break those patterns. And I congratulate you, especially that you have brought me as one of the women panelists. So and NEP, as I see, is all about equitable, inclusive and a plural society that we all want to be in. Definitely, it could be a very imaginative space, but with the implementation, of course, I think it could be a very real space. And अब इसको इसके बाद कोई माँ बाप बच्चे को नहीं बोलेगा कि जाके एक्टर बन जाओ, नलायक हो तो एक्टिंग कर लो. So I think that line of if you cannot do anything, at least go and act, that kind of a non-hierarchy that this NEP wants to now crack through and bring through to the society, I'm looking forward to that. Well, having said that, I would say that with as the Spider-Man movie Part One closing remarks is, with great power comes great responsibility. It's also that with the hopeful remarks in NEP, which is still a pen and paper document, the implementation is the key. And I think the challenges with us in India is, of course, the class size. That's the purview of the debate that I think I talk at various panels, is the class size, the teacher training, the curriculum content, and of course, at the end of it, the social, political, and the political will of the implementation. Yes, so I am very hopeful that the lines have blurred between curricular and co-curricular, and theater, arts, and music have gone also the HEIs, the higher education institutes. In fact, I heard that IIT Kharagpur has opened a classical music and folk song department, folk dance department. So it's a great news to open up with. Yet, I am looking forward to the implementation of the policy. Thank you.
Absolutely. See, we all are very eagerly waiting for that implementation part. That is going to be key. So thank you, Chetna ji. I'll come back to you. Now I would request Mr. Vinayak Sharma from Torrance. Vinayak ji, I'm sure you must be very excited, after hearing these things, and in fact, after reading NEP, where music has been mentioned more than 20 times. So your opening remarks, sir.
Thank you, Rajulji, for that introduction. and it feels really proud to be a part of this panel discussing how NEP and its methodology can be used to the benefit of the students in the coming times. Uh, Very good afternoon and Jai Hind and Happy New Republic Day to everybody. I will stick to music as the course area, as that is my specialty. And I would like to highlight the points regarding music and how it's helpful for the students, keeping NEP 2020 into the mind. Thank you.
Right, right. Meanwhile, we have been joined by Mr. Savio John. Welcome, Savio. And now I would request Mr. Nitin Nagpal. Nitinji, uh, you know, so all these new inclusions in NEP would create a huge confusion in career selection. So you are coming up with that solution. Nitinji, over to you. Your opening remark.
Thank you, Rajat. And I would like to congratulate School Lalaji and you, especially for bringing all of us together so that we can add whatever value we can add for the betterment of our future generation. Yes, with the inclusion of more subjects, it's going to be more confusion and all. So, eMango Education, we have come up with a technological platform, and that's what I'm going to speak today on. The role of technology in the field of career counseling and how we can use the technology to clear these confusion or any other confusion that a student might be having. Over to you, Rajan.
Thank you. Thank you, Nitinji. Absolutely. Technology can help us in that way as well. So now with this, we come to the second part, next part of the session, which is the main talk. I'll come to all our speakers for your main talk. You will get 8 to 10 minutes. And before I invite a first speaker, I just would like to share the learnings of our last 93 sessions. Most of the educators, in fact, everyone said that this is a wonderful document. Everyone, the same number of speakers also said that execution is going to be very, very difficult. And, a lot of people said that, the huge challenge would be for rural school or budget schools. Many people said that finance is going to be a key. Many educators, were of the opinion that good schools in metro cities are already implementing these parts which are there in policy. So challenge would be for the government schools. Finance would be a challenge. A lot of people also believe that. Many people gave us the example of CCE, which I already mentioned. So I would request all our speakers, so while sharing your interpretation on NEP, also please share that some kind of roadmap or some suggestions which we all can try in our respective domains. So with this, I would request our first key speaker, Thanga Durai sir. Sir, over to you.
Thank you. Uh, well, so quite an introduction talk was quite interesting and thought provoking. I do agree with Mr. Chaudhary, Aditya Chaudhary, that technology has come to stay. And I do appreciate Mrs. Malhotra's view that theatre would become an integral part or should become an integral part of the learning experience of the children. And I would like, since I started with technology, it's not only how technology can be used and how technology can also take in we, certain soft skills like music, dance, what we call integration of art into education. That's also a very integral part of the NEP. And how technology can bring about the change in the pedagogy of learning. Because as I said in my introductory talk, the outcome of learning with the impact of technology was a little alarming. How can we bring corrective measures? It is something which is probably happening across the, the world, because technology is now a very integral part of online learning. Now, in a normal classroom, I think we are all familiar with the educational models which we have used in our curriculum assessment. To take one small window, talking about Benjamin's taxonomy's model of different hierarchy of learning. This is a model that we used in our curriculum, in our cognition, approach to learning, thinking, learning, and understanding. Now, how would we bring this in using technology? Now, initially, the teachers have adapted technology at a level that they could adapt in terms of the kind of an orientation they have, the kind of a training they have. But otherwise, it was a really difficult experience for the teachers to adapt technology at a very short notice. Now we have to take this along to a next level. How this technology can be brought in and how this pedagogy of learning can be blended or integrated. Here I would like to uh, uh, share a small presentation. Of course, it's a very short one. Uh, just give me some time. This is the first time I'm using a Google Meet. Uh, that's part of my learning with regard to technology. I don't know how it comes around.
Many of our participants have said these lines that they are using Google Meet just for these sessions.
Yeah. I went through a small tutorial this morning. Can
So
you see my screen?
do you suggest we should ask for some royalty from Google?
Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir, your screen is visible.
Can you see my slide?
Yes, we can do that. So
Yeah, so this is what the topic that I chose: technology use and integration on integration in educational settings and on teaching, learning, and educational administration. Now, here is a small image which I collected from the one of the New York Times. Uh, can anyone share with me? Let us make it a little interactive because I feel comfortable in that way. Can anyone tell me what this image is all about?
there are three persons, trying to
Uh,
pull another one. Yeah, Vinayak.
I think it's about collaboration and how jointly somebody can reach the top.
So we are talking about collaboration, that is 21st century skills. This yellow building is a school, and we have during this online platform, we have the teacher, we have the parent, we have the school administration and management. All of them are holding the child, and the child has got a burden on him. He's lifting and carrying a thing. So this is the scenario of these online classes now. That is just to put it in a very pictorial way. And what is the experience the teachers had in terms of going through this, adapting this technology? When we put a questions to our teacher, do you enjoy preparing content for your remote lessons? There were various kinds of answers, and this is something was very catchy, and I'd like to share with you. But this is something which I had interacted on a webinar from a resource person in USA, and she had presented this. I feel I am attempting to drive on a road that I am simultaneously paving while also following a paper map. Now, that's a kind of an experience that the teachers have. Now, I talked about a small window of talking about the educational model of Benjamin Bloom's taxonomy. Here, he brought in, he, of course, 1950, he brought out this document on Bloom's taxonomy, wherein He talked about knowledge, comprehension, application, which are basically a lower level of learning, thinking. Then we had analysis, synthesis, and evaluation. This is a normal process or the normal module that we use for designing curriculum, assessment, and instructional practices. But in 1990, there's a little change that has been brought about. Would any of our honored speakers can share with me what is the change? What is the difference between the first triangle and the second triangle in terms of the different segments or the components? In the first, we have knowledge, comprehension, application, analysis, synthesis, and evaluation. And against knowledge, we have remembering; against comprehension, we have understanding; against application, we have applying; against analysis, we have analyzing; against synthesis, we have evaluating. Is there any difference you see?
Yeah. What we did in the 1990 was all verbs. They were
Okay.
doing words.
Doing words. That's a digital verbs. That's well said.
Hmm.
So, Avid and Lauren Anderson. Lauren Anderson was a student of Benjamin. He brought action oriented. What was more theoretical, he brought in action oriented. And it's not only knowledge, we need the process of remembering. Here again, the first three understand, remembering, understanding, and applying is a lower order of learning or thinking, analyzing and evaluation and creating. One difference we see that in 1950, Bloom's taxonomy evaluation was in the pinnacle, with the examination and evaluation and assessing the learning outcome was the pinnacle. But in the action oriented process of learning, creativity has come in. So this is a little a shift. Now, bringing in technology, I think all of you may be very familiar with Dr. Peundura's, Ruben Peundura's summer model, where he brought technology for transformation. The same Bloom's taxonomy here, revised or modified Bloom's taxonomy, remember, understand, apply, analyze, evaluate, and create. Dr. Rubin brought this concept how we could transform it using technology. The first segment, of course, is again substitution and augmentation is again in the same lower level of learning and thinking and thinking, uh, whereas modification and redefinition is in the higher order of thinking, just the way analyze, evaluate, and create creative works are. What does he mean by substitution? Now, in a normal case, for example, in a class situation, when a child is asked to write a creative story, he writes on his notebook. The teacher corrects it, evaluates, and gives him grade or appreciates or whatsoever. Now, using technology, now what is happening on an online platform, children are typing it using word processor. It's just a substitution of what earlier was done. It's a substitution experience with not much change except that they are typing it instead of writing. But technology can further augment it in terms of how to improve the layout. They can use certain functional devices like spell check, grammar check, and augment it using technology. So, moving from a normal learning platform, the technology helps in, as Mr. Chaudhary had already said about how it could be more practical in terms of improving their potential. So, and also to save time. So, here they are augmenting the text using the functional device of the technology. Now, here's the most interesting part, the top two. modification. Now, how to modify? As you know, every child has a flair for writing, creativity, innovative approach to doing things. And I think the child can do that in terms of modification. How can he modify? He has been doing a particular he was writing a particular way of presenting a story, the plot or development. Now, how he can modify? Technology has given a platform now where they could share very easily, see each other's work, even if they are not physically present. The MS Team platform, the Microsoft platform. I think in other platform also there will be there are technology support like whiteboard where all these story of different students can be shown and students can have a comparative analysis. So analyzing the work with others work, trying to improve on their work by observing others creative aspects. So they get an opportunity using technology to modify their writing. They not only analyze, they also evaluate while comparing with others. Then here comes where Mrs. Malhotra's concept of theatre, creativity, and using various digital forms can be used. The same story now can be created into a small clip of a video. They can import pictures, they can give voiceover, they could animation, and so they create a perception of the story in their own light, bringing a very innovative approach to storytelling. Even even any kind of a dance form can be integrated. So you see, technology could become a very integral part of a student's learning, though the student and the children, the student as a remote learner, the teacher as a remote teacher, have been doing a wonderful job. We need to bridge the gap. We did have concepts like blended learning and flipped learning. I think this is also an integral part of that, enhancing the learning process using technology.